Hey everyone, should you or should you not spay or neuter your dog? That is what we're going to discuss in this video. Okay, so we've got a question here in regards to a Boerboel that was spayed, and the question goes as followed. My Boerboel was extremely traumatized by her spay surgery, and I'm not certain if her current behavior is resulting from that procedure or that it's coincidental because of this phase that she's going through. She has reverted back to some puppy-like behaviors that we had already worked through, but are now reliving at 125 pounds versus 40 pounds. She was sweet, calm, and perfect one day, and a complete pain the next. She's 13 months old. Thank you. Okay, so there's two things here. Obviously, the question in regards to trauma from the spay surgery, and then also if there is some sort of correlation between spaying and going back into puppy-like behaviors. So, what is spaying? What is neutering? Spaying is for a female and neutering is for a male dog. Okay? So, and what the thought process behind it is that we're going to stop that animal from being able to reproduce. Yeah? So, once this has been done, your male can't reproduce in another female, and the female can't have puppies anymore. Okay, so that's very simple way of explaining what spaying and neutering is for those that didn't know. So now we're going to the point of should you do it, should you not, or why. Let's start with the why. So why do we do it? Because we are now, and in many countries, we find that a lot of dog shelters are overcrowded. And unfortunately, this is not just dogs that were given up by owners. This is also dogs that were no buyers for, from breeders, for example. People that thought they were going to make a quick buck by having two dogs mate with each other, and now they've come to a point where they can't sell the puppies anymore, so they are being brought to an animal shelter or sometimes even just dumped on the roadside. So to stop that, people say ethical breeders want to have, unless you're a breeder buying from another breeder, ethical breeders want their puppies to be neutered, or spayed, to prohibit them in the future from having pups. Now, do I think it's a good thing? Yes, I do think it's a good thing for dogs to be spayed and neutered. However, I think what we need to remember is that there is a time when to do it, and we will address that a little bit later. So, in regards to the spaying surgery in this question, I don't really know a lot of the background. I have been talking with this particular person about the situation, and what it seemed like, it was quite a normal, straightforward surgery, and the dog was crate trained, so when it was put in a crate at the surgery office, the vets, it went all fine. But then when the dog came back home, it showed very abnormal behaviors, and it just tended to be more anxious, and it just didn't feel to them that they were having the same dog back. You have a responsibility to the dog to do whatever is best for that particular dog. So if you, for example, let's if you don't know how to drive, you shouldn't drive a car. If you don't know how to have a dog, you should not buy a dog. So in my opinion, what you should be doing is you should be learning how to take care of a dog. Now, when it comes to spaying and neutering, you shouldn't really spay or neuter your dog unless you understand the process and the effects of neutering. And it's not that difficult because you can literally go online. Most people nowadays have a phone. You can literally go on the internet and type in pros and cons of spaying, pros and cons of neutering. And you can find a study, and I like personally to make an opinion based on information where I've seen both sides, the positives and the negatives. Now, with regards to positives, there are some positives. For example, you could end up with a dog that is less energetic, a little bit more calm down, a little bit easier to handle. There are some positives. As a breeder, we would like to know for sure that this dog that we've bred is not going to be used unless the person that has bought it from us has our consent to breed. Now, I'm more concerned about the negative side. So what are the potential negatives, when we are going to have this surgery? What are the negative things that can happen once this is done? And so it can't be changed anymore. We can't go back again and undo what we've done. So there's plenty of studies online, and I will share probably a couple of links to studies so that you can read through. But I've read several studies, and what we've found when going through these studies is that they are saying quite a lot of things about behavior changes. So listen to this. Spayed females are more aggressive. Spayed females tended to be more fearful. Spayed females seem to be more anxious. Spayed females are more difficult to train. Spayed females are less responsive to cues. So what this particular study was about was the behavior changes in several dogs before and after, and their findings that once the months had gone past, they were still finding that these dogs were more aggressive, more fearful, anxious, difficult to train, etc. Now, to me, the potential of that becomes quite an issue. Why would I want to leave myself open to having a dog that has an increased chance of being a bad behaved dog? So would I really want to go through all of that and then end up with a product that I don't want? Because in a way, my dog was absolutely fine before, and now after doing this surgery, all of a sudden, I've got a dog that has turned into a problem. Another study that was talking about the psychological and the behavioral changes that was going on, because obviously after a surgery like that, the hormones are going to go all over the place because the body has figured out that something is different now, and so it is going to lead to hormonal changes. which then impacts the behavior changes. This, for example, was a study that they did in Holland, where they saw a large increase in aggressive behavior after spaying was done. So again, you have to be aware of the negative sides to spaying. Once you understand the negative side, you can then make sure that you're going to be ready for this journey that you're going to go on. And so it could be that you just have to step it up on your training. Remember, every dog can be trained. So if your dog is going to be tending to be more aggressive, then you can focus your training on that part. If your dog tends to be less responsive of your cues, then you can focus your training on that, and then focus more on your one-to-one, your eye contact first, so that you've got concentration from your dog onto you. So there are more than many ways for you to get past the obstacles. I just feel that you have to be aware of what the obstacles could be. Another study had shown that an increased fearful behavior as a result of the spaying. And obviously we know that there's a tendency and there's a correlation between fearful and anxious dogs not reaching their full lifespan due to stress. So that again, to me, is a negative point that needs to be understood and needs to be considered. Is this what you want? Now, it sounds maybe that I have a negative view on spaying or neutering. It's not that I've got a negative view on it. It's just that I'm not sure. It feels always a little bit difficult for me, because do I want to have a dog that is completely healthy and completely has a complete beautiful spirit and great character, and have the potential there that this character is going to be changed due to something that the dog is not in control of? They are going to have something done to them, and then the after effects of this surgery is just something that is unavoidable. So I'm not against it, because unfortunately there are too many people in this world that are looking for a quick buck. And in a way, there's too many people that do not stick with the contract that you sign, because you know, in our contracts we, for example, say that we cannot have this unless you're a breeder. You cannot breed from this pup at a later stage. There's too many people in this world that will not honor a contract and will just do their own thing because they think they're gonna just get rich quickly. And so I'm an advocate in that way for spaying and neutering. The only thing that I do want to say then is, when is it the right time, so that we can lower down the risks of behavior change. So when is the right time to spay or to neuter? So we get told that once the dog has reached sexual maturity, that it's an option to be considered. Obviously, that's dependent on the dog breed. So I can't say to you, you're going to be able to do it at 12 months or 18 months, because it's different per dog breed. I can speak for the Boer Bull, and I personally, but this is a personal opinion, and so this might open up another debate, but I personally think that once the dog hits about 2.5 years of age, you can consider the spaying or the neutering. Before that, I think there's, in my opinion, too many hormonal changes still going on. The Boer Bull is a dog that develops for a very long time. So out of most dog breeds, the Boer Bull continues for a lot longer period of time than most breeds in terms of development. So therefore I think that it's probably best to do the spaying or neutering after the 2.5 years. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that we helped you to understand a little bit more of the what, the why, the effects, and when to do spaying or neutering. If you do have any other questions, please reach out to us. More than happy to help where I can. And this will be the end. Just make sure that you like and subscribe. It will help us massively in growing the channel. We've seen a good growth over the last few months, and we're hoping to continue. So until the next video, I say bye bye.